ages 75 to 85. If you still do these 6 things, you're truly one of a kind, Dr. David. If you're over 70, what I'm about to tell you could determine whether you're still living independently 10 years from now or relying on someone else for the simplest daily tasks. Most people believe getting weaker, forgetting names, losing balance, and slowing down are just unavoidable parts of aging. But what if that's not entirely true? What if some of the most respected longevity researchers in the world have discovered that the seniors who remain sharp, active, and independent well into their 80s and even 90s share a few simple daily habits that most people have quietly abandoned? And what if the most powerful habit on today's list has nothing to do with exercise, medication, or expensive supplements? Stay with me until the end because habit number 1 may completely change the way you think about aging. Before we begin, welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. David, and every week I share science-backed health information designed specifically for adults who want to stay strong, healthy, and independent as they age. If that's your goal, take a moment right now to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss future videos. And while you're watching, leave a comment below and tell me your age and where you're watching from today. I read as many comments as possible, and hearing your stories helps build one of the most supportive senior communities on YouTube. Now let's begin with a habit that sounds simple, but has a surprisingly powerful effect on your brain, balance, energy, and overall health. Most people think they drink enough water. The problem is that after age 70, your body stops sending reliable thirst signals. In other words, you can be dehydrated and not even realize it. As we age, kidney function gradually declines, making it harder for the body to regulate fluids efficiently. At the same time, even mild dehydration can reduce blood flow to the brain, affect concentration, increase fatigue, and significantly raise the risk of falls. Think of your bloodstream as a transportation system. Every nutrient, every hormone, and every molecule of oxygen your body needs must travel through that system. When hydration drops, everything slows down. The brain receives fewer resources. Muscles become less efficient. Balance becomes less stable. And many older adults mistakenly assume these changes are simply signs of aging. Research has repeatedly shown that seniors who maintain proper hydration experience better cognitive performance, fewer urinary tract infections, lower fall risk, and improved energy levels throughout the day. The healthiest seniors don't wait until they feel thirsty. They hydrate intentionally. Many begin each morning with a large glass of water before coffee, before breakfast, and before any other activity. After a night of sleep, the body is naturally dehydrated. Replacing those fluids first thing in the morning helps support circulation, brain function, and physical performance. Some also include electrolytes to improve fluid absorption, especially because aging kidneys often struggle to maintain optimal electrolyte balance. One simple habit. One powerful foundation for healthy aging. But hydration alone isn't enough, because even perfectly hydrated muscles will weaken if they aren't being challenged. And that's where the next habit becomes critical. One of the biggest myths about aging is that older adults should avoid strenuous movement and take it easy. While rest has its place, too much inactivity can accelerate physical decline. After age 75, muscle loss speeds up dramatically through a process known as sarcopenia. Without regular stimulation, muscles shrink, balance deteriorates, and everyday activities become increasingly difficult. The good news is that you don't need a gym membership or heavy weights to fight back. Your muscles simply need a reason to stay strong. Resistance bands, bodyweight exercises, chair squats, wall push-ups, or even carrying groceries can provide the stimulation your muscles need to remain active. Studies have shown that adults in their 70s and 80s can significantly improve strength and balance within just a few months of consistent resistance training. That's right, not simply maintain strength, but actually gain strength. Every time you challenge your muscles, you're sending a message to your body that these tissues are still needed. And your body responds. Stronger muscles improve mobility, support healthy blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and dramatically lower the risk of falls. For older adults, preventing just one serious fall can mean preserving years of independence. One of my patients, an 81-year-old grandmother, believed her increasing weakness was simply a normal part of getting older. She had gradually stopped gardening, walking long distances, and carrying household items. Within weeks of beginning a simple resistance band routine twice per week, she noticed improvements in energy, balance, and confidence. 3 months later, she was back in her garden doing many of the activities she thought she had lost forever. That's the remarkable thing about the human body. Even in your 70s and 80s, it still adapts when given the right stimulus. And what you're about to hear next may be even more important because many seniors unknowingly sabotage their health every night while they sleep. Many people assume sleep is simply a period of rest, but that couldn't be further from the truth. While you sleep, your body performs some of its most important repair work. Your brain clears away waste products that accumulate throughout the day. Your immune system strengthens itself. Damaged tissues begin repairing. Hormones responsible for recovery and maintenance are released. Unfortunately, after age 70, sleep often becomes more fragmented. Many older adults wake up multiple times during the night, struggle to fall asleep, or find themselves feeling exhausted even after spending enough hours in bed. The danger is that poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. It can affect memory, concentration, mood, balance, and even long-term brain health. Researchers have found that adults with chronically disrupted sleep patterns experience faster cognitive decline and higher rates of dementia-related changes. The healthiest seniors understand that sleep isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. They maintain consistent bedtimes and wake-up times. They keep their bedrooms cool, dark, and quiet. They limit screen exposure before bed and create calming evening routines that help the brain transition into restorative sleep. Even a simple habit like slow breathing for a few minutes before bedtime can reduce stress hormones and improve sleep quality. Think of sleep as the nightly maintenance crew for your body. If that crew never gets enough time to work, problems begin to accumulate. Night after night, month after month, year after year. But when sleep becomes a priority, the benefits extend into nearly every aspect of health. And speaking of rebuilding the body, there's another habit that many seniors get completely wrong. In fact, it may be one of the biggest nutritional mistakes older adults make. Most people believe they need less protein as they get older. The truth is exactly the opposite. As we age, our muscles become less responsive to dietary protein. This means older adults often need more protein than younger adults to maintain strength and muscle mass. Yet many seniors consume far less than they actually need. Appetite decreases. Meals become smaller. Convenience foods replace nutrient-dense options. And slowly, almost invisibly, muscle begins to disappear. This loss isn't just cosmetic. Muscle is directly connected to mobility, balance, metabolism, immune function, and independence. Without adequate protein, the body struggles to repair itself. Recovery slows. Weakness increases. Everyday activities become more difficult. The seniors who remain strong and active into their later years tend to make protein a priority. They include quality protein sources throughout the day rather than consuming most of it in a single meal. Eggs, fish, chicken, Greek yogurt, beans, and lean meats provide the building blocks necessary for muscle maintenance and repair. Think of protein as construction material. Every day your body is constantly repairing and rebuilding itself. Without enough materials, the repairs become incomplete. Over time, that deficit becomes visible in the form of weakness, frailty, and loss of independence. One gentleman I worked with in his late 70s had accepted his declining strength as a normal consequence of aging. After evaluating his diet, we discovered he was eating less than half the protein his body required. Within a few months of increasing his protein intake and combining it with simple resistance exercises, his strength improved dramatically. He felt more energetic, more capable, more confident, and perhaps most importantly, he regained the ability to do many daily tasks without assistance. But physical health is only part of the story, because one of the most powerful predictors of longevity has nothing to do with food, exercise, or medication. It has to do with people. Human beings are wired for connection. Throughout history, survival depended on community, family, friendship, shared experiences. Yet as people age, social circles often become smaller. Retirement reduces daily interactions. Loved ones move away. Friends pass on. Gradually, many older adults spend more time alone than they ever expected. What most people don't realize is that loneliness can have profound effects on physical and mental health. Research has linked chronic social isolation to increased inflammation, higher rates of heart disease, faster cognitive decline, depression, and a greater risk of premature death. Some experts have even suggested that severe loneliness carries health risks comparable to smoking. That's how powerful social connection can be. The healthiest seniors don't simply surround themselves with people. They actively engage with others. They have meaningful conversations. They share stories. They laugh. They learn. They contribute. They remain connected to life. One woman in her 80s lost her husband after more than 50 years of marriage. Understandably, she withdrew from many social activities. Over time, her mood worsened. Her memory declined. Her energy disappeared. Instead of immediately changing medications, we focused on rebuilding her social routine. She joined a book club, began calling family members regularly, started volunteering in her community. Slowly but steadily, she came back to life. Her mood improved. Her confidence returned. Even her cognitive performance showed measurable improvement. That's because meaningful social interaction stimulates the brain in ways that few other activities can. Keeps neural pathways active. It reduces stress. It supports emotional well-being. And it gives people a reason to keep moving forward. But now we come to the habit that may be the most powerful of them all. The habit that researchers increasingly believe plays a major role in preserving cognitive function and independence later in life. The habit that fewer than 1 in 8 older adults consistently practice. And the reason it matters may surprise you. The habit that researchers increasingly believe may be one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging isn't a supplement. It isn't a medication. It isn't even exercise. It's the daily habit of challenging your brain with something new. Most people stop learning long before their brains stop being capable of learning. That's one of the greatest misconceptions about aging. Many retirees fall into routines that feel comfortable and familiar. They watch the same programs, read the same types of books, have the same conversations, follow the same daily schedule. And while comfort has its place, the brain thrives on challenge. Your brain is designed to adapt. Scientists call this ability neuroplasticity. Even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond, the brain can still form new connections when given the right stimulation. The problem is that many people stop providing that stimulation. They stop learning. They stop exploring. They stop putting themselves in situations where they have to think differently. Over time, the brain becomes increasingly dependent on existing pathways rather than creating new ones. Think of it like a trail through a forest. The paths you use every day become wider and easier to follow. But the paths you never use begin to disappear. The same thing can happen inside the brain. The seniors who remain mentally sharp the longest tend to challenge themselves regularly. They learn a language, practice a musical instrument, explore photography, take online courses, learn to paint, study history, master new technology. The specific activity matters less than the challenge itself. What matters is that the brain is forced to adapt, to struggle, to grow. One retired engineer I worked with became concerned about occasional memory lapses shortly after turning 79. Medical testing showed no serious disease. What he needed wasn't treatment. What he needed was stimulation. I encouraged him to choose something he had always wanted to learn but never had time for. He chose painting. At first, he was frustrated. Nothing looked the way he wanted. Every session felt difficult. But he stayed with it. 18 months later, he had completed dozens of paintings, joined a local art group, expanded his social circle, and showed measurable improvements in several areas of cognitive performance. Improvement, not maintenance. Improvement. At nearly 80 years old. That's the remarkable thing about the human brain. It is far more adaptable than most people realize. But only when we give it a reason to adapt. Every new skill, every challenge, every moment of productive struggle tells the brain that growth is still required. And growth creates resilience. That's why the most vibrant older adults you meet often share one characteristic. They remain curious. They continue asking questions. They continue learning. They continue engaging with the world around them. They never convince themselves that it's too late. Because it isn't. Not at 70. Not at 80. Not even at 90. And that's really the message I want you to take away from today's video. Aging is inevitable. Decline is not always inevitable. The choices you make every day matter more than most people realize. The water you drink. The way you move your body. The quality of your sleep. The food you eat. The people you spend time with. The challenges you give your mind. These small daily decisions accumulate over time. They become your future health. They become your future strength. They become your future independence. The difference between thriving and merely surviving often isn't found in a miracle treatment or breakthrough medication. More often, it's found in ordinary habits practiced consistently for years. One extra glass of water. One short walk. One healthy meal. One meaningful conversation. One good night's sleep. One new thing learned today. Small actions repeated consistently create extraordinary results. Before we finish, I want you to imagine yourself 10 years from now. Imagine being able to walk confidently, think clearly, enjoy conversations, travel when you want, spend time with the people you love, continue living life on your own terms. That future is influenced by the decisions you make starting today. Your body is still listening. Your brain is still adapting. Your muscles are still responding. And your future is still being written. If you found this video helpful, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss future videos designed specifically to help older adults stay strong, healthy, and independent. And now I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below telling me your age and which of these 6 habits you're already doing consistently. And if there's one habit you'd like to improve starting this week, share that too. Your experience may encourage someone else who is watching today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself. Stay active. Stay curious. Stay connected. And remember, the goal isn't simply to add years to your life. The goal is to add life to your years.